Happy holidays! So we will get to the video very shortly, but I did want to say that this video and all of my videos are brought to you by you, my wonderful patrons. It really means a lot to me. Many of you have been with me for almost 10 years, if not longer, and it is why I am able to maintain equipment, able to carve out time to make videos, and it just means so much to me to have such a supportive community. So thank you all very much and happy holidays. And today's video is especially brought to you by Patreon members because one of you very graciously gifted me through Throne a very fancy group of chocolates that we are going to do a tasting with today. So I hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much for being with me and supporting me all this time. All right, thank you. Hello. Happy holidays, everyone. What a fun way to spend a little bit of time around the holidays. And I'm sure you guys saw at the front of the store that we have lots of options for gifts if you still have things to purchase. But today I have my dark chocolate lovers. Yes? Good, good, good. Excellent. So we have a wonderful tasting of dark chocolate today from a very special company. So this is a company, they don't support us, but we support them, and we sell their products through the store. So this company is called Bar and Cocoa, and you all have this little card. Don't open your chocolates yet. We'll get there. So first we're going to talk about this company that we got our chocolates from and why we are tasting these chocolates today. So the company is Bar and Chocolate, and they write, "We are passionate about chocolate that's not only delicious but also crafted with ethics and sustainability in mind. We source our chocolate from around the world, seeking out unique, complex flavors that you won't find in mass-produced brands." So chocolate is one of the things. There's a documentary on Netflix, is specifically where I saw it, that talks about different food products and how when they aren't ethically sourced and when they aren't fair trade, they can really exploit the farmers, and that's not something I want to support. And two of the items in this specific documentary are sugar and raw cacao. So I have, since watching that, tried to be very careful about what kinds of chocolate I buy. I also have any of you read the book Ultra Processed People? It's been really popular this year. It's a good read. The science is very interesting, but also trying to buy chocolate that doesn't have stuff like soy lecithin and all of these other emulsifiers in it. It's not easy. So these smaller brands tend to be where I can get chocolate that I support as well, but also just delicious chocolate. So quality begins with ethics. Our chocolate supports a supply chain that is more transparent and ethical than fair trade or big brand chocolate. We work with masters who source their cacao through direct trade, ensuring that farmers are paid fairly and that the highest standards for premium quality cacao and sustainable agroforestry are met. So it's really important to me. It's not something I can do with all of my food all of the time, but this is one, again, sometimes I make my own chocolate as well, just to be able to really control how I'm sourcing my chocolate. Level up your taste. Experience the joy of chocolate that is good for you, the farmers, and the environment. It's time to elevate your taste. All right, are you guys ready? So I assume you're all chocolate lovers, and you all have in front of you this little beautiful package. So let's open this up. And so mine is open because I've opened mine already. But today we have not just ethically sourced chocolate, but we have Heirloom Cacao. It's very exciting. So let's talk a little bit about Heirloom Cacao. So here it says Heirloom Cacao varieties are distinguished for that unmatched flavor. Passed down through generations, these cacao beans are infused with the geographic uniqueness and bountiful heritage of the people who cultivate the cacao trees. We proudly work together with heirloom farming communities to bring you the world's finest chocolates. So again, we have the packaging is lovely on this. I like the little embossed cacao beans on the back and the embossed flowers on the front. It is really just beautiful packaging. And then you have the 4 little chocolate bars inside. So we're going to open this up. So as we're opening this up, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Heirloom Cacao. I find with these tastings, I always appreciate the food or drink a little bit more when I know a little bit about it. That's why I'm telling you more about it. It's always nice to have a little bit of a class along with some delicious tasting. So heirloom cacao is an ancestral or traditional cacao varietal propagated on farms or found in wild or semi-wild conditions that exhibit exceptionally complex, balanced, and unique flavors. So these have a number of ecological, economic, and social benefits. So cacao is a crop grown primarily by small-scale farmers in lowland tropical regions. Most production occurs in areas of biodiversity. Research shows that where cacao is an important source of income, it contributes to roughly 1/3 of a family's total revenue. So it is interesting. I have a friend who lives in Indonesia, and she recently was telling me that she will eat the meat of cacao. Cacao itself, and that the meat itself is kind of a lychee sort of taste. So that's something when I am traveling abroad, I am definitely going to seek out. So the first, I won't make you wait any longer. I'll tell you more about heirloom cacao as we go. I'm not going to make you wait any longer. So what we are going to start off with is the Magdalena. It's the yellow one that is in here. And we're going to start with this one because it's 71% cacao. And so it's going to be the lightest of the 4 that we try. So open this up. The packaging on this is beautiful as well. So this one has butterflies on it. It says crafted by generations of dreamers. And this is from Colombia. So they also have different, it's kind of interesting. So they each have these little dots on the top, and it's all a little bit different, and it has a best by date. So this is the Magdalena brand. Let's open this up. We'll try it and then I'll read everything. Oh, there's so much information in here. I love this company. Again, it makes a big difference to me, and I think most of us, to have companies that we feel good about purchasing from. So, opening this up. These are not the easiest to open. If you need scissors, let me know. I am going to just open up a little corner because I'm just going to have a little taste, because I've had these before when I've done these tastings before. But you guys can take as big of a taste as you want, and yes, you get to take the whole bar home, so you can share it with others as well. So this one, oh, such an interesting flavor. You really get a different flavor. So before I kind of give you my input, what do you guys think? Yeah, I get like a honey. It's very interesting. So let's see what it says on here too. We wander through the bountiful landscape and into the community of Arhuacos. Here we founded the Macondo Cacao School to help farmers preserve an ancient tradition and strengthen the local production. As cacao hunters, we proudly work with the community to cultivate this exceptional cacao with magic notes of red berries, citrus fruit, and brown sugar. Brown sugar, I definitely get that. So I always take some and I chew some, and then I like to let some just melt on my tongue. These are not going to have a very high melting point because there's so much cacao in them. So it's just starting to melt a little bit. It's actually one thing I really, really like about dark chocolate. I love dessert. I assume most of you. So here's a question for you. Do you love all desserts, or do you mostly just love chocolate? So a little bit of both. So for those of you who just love chocolate, what is it about chocolate? Okay. This is so good. So, for me, I love all desserts. Mostly. I don't love candy very much except for chocolate. But one of the things I really like about chocolate is I can take a piece, let it melt in my mouth, and it doesn't set off the same sort of alarm signals in my brain saying, you need more, you need more, you need more, you need more. If I chew it sometimes, but if I really just let it melt in my mouth, I'm usually pretty satiated with a small piece. For me, that's important. So, I don't know if that's true for you as well, but I find especially with dark chocolate, because it's not super, super sweet, it's got that bitter aspect, it means I'm able to stop eating it a little bit faster, and it feels more decadent to just let it melt on my tongue. So again, we all eat chocolate however we want to eat chocolate, but that's one thing that I kind of point out. So on the inside of this, it says the magic Magdalena River overtakes flatlands and carves through mountain ranges before uniting the Caribbean Sea. Not far from this meeting point, you can find the community of Magdalena. Okay, it's also a community. The birthplace of Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Ah, I've been to a few of his, I've read several of his books. I love Gabriel Garcia Marquez. The quaint community, with its colorful structures and tiny bridges, carries on the spirit of magical realism. So I love all this little packaging stuff. I love food that is an experience and helps me learn something. So I'm not going to read all of these for all of these chocolates. But I think it's fun to know about the different aspects of these. All right, so you can save the rest of that one if you want to, if there's any left. So the next one is this green one. So this one is 72% raw cacao. It is a dark chocolate. It is called Arhuacos, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I believe I am. So this is from Colombia as well. Yeah, these are all from Colombia, but they're just different parts of Colombia. And I love these little sayings that it has on the front. So, grown by the guardians of the Sierra Nevada. And it's got this beautiful little pattern here. I would love to, at some point, kind of find out more about what I bet the patterns have some sort of meaning, why each box has a different kind of pattern. So, I'm going to open this one up. Again, the packaging is so nice. And can open this one up. Delicious. Okay. And have a taste of some of that while I read to you more about this. We were captivated by the paths that weave. Sorry. The writing is a little bit shiny, so kind of depending on how you hold it in the light is how easy it is to read. We were captivated by the paths that weave their way around the Sierra Nevada mountains. It is here in the high altitudes that we discovered a 500-year-old cacao, which carries the spirit of an ancient civilization. As cacao hunters, we proudly share the magic of this chocolate, which brings to mind crisp notes of lime, green grapes, and lemongrass. Exciting. All right, I'm gonna let a little bit. Again, I think for you, you should take a little bit and chew it, and then also let some just melt on your tongue. It does take a few seconds, probably not full minutes. Feels like minutes. A few seconds to really get that melting. But it's really interesting. I do get that little bit of like lemongrass. I don't know if I get grapes particularly, but I didn't really get berry from the last one. Do any of you guys taste kind of a grape note? Okay. So maybe like a red wine kind of taste. I get that a little bit. I think of grapes as so sweet. But I'm not getting that kind of sweetness, but I am getting that little bit of like tanniny red wine. This would probably be delicious paired with a nice red wine. Yeah. I know that they say that chocolate pairs beautifully with wine. Not all the time. But I think this would be one that really would. pair beautifully with a red wine. So, and this one says, we, the Arhuaco people, are custodians of the heart of the world. We are grateful to our Mother Earth and Father Sun for providing a rich variety of harvests in the highland. The most precious of these is our heirloom cacao, which we have protected for generations. So that is really, really a gorgeous chocolate. So indigenous cacao trees are often used in agroforest initiatives. The heirloom varieties most often grow in shade, and they grow harmoniously with other fruit trees, such as bananas, papayas, cashews. This type of agriculture increases the farmer's ability to protect against blight and increase sources of revenue. But it's not, the way of big business farming, to have these trees kind of interspersed with other types of crops. So because it grows in the shade, it also provides habitats for numerous species, including birds, other fruit-bearing trees, thus protecting an area's unique biodiversity. And I would imagine that having that much diversity really affects why each of these cacaos taste so different. So, this one was 71% raw cacao, but from a very different region than this one we just tried, which is from up in the mountains. And they tasted very different, I think. Yeah, and this one also is a gold winner for the chocolate awards in 2015. You can see that right there. So, not to say one is better than the other. I mean, that's what that is saying. But I think it's a lot about taste. But I think it's that biodiversity and, the different flavors. I think you get like terroir, if you're into wine, of a certain area as well. I mean, clearly these tasted very different. So, shade-grown cacao is now seen as the best alternative for preserving some of the still intact biodiversity in areas plagued by deforestation. So the next one we're going to try is the Rio de Oro. This one is 73% heirloom cacao. And again, this is sort of my favorite part. So this little description they have is just so whimsical. I mean, cultivated on the banks of the Golden River of Arhuacos. Okay, so this is another riverbank one. And it's got this pretty little gold on here. And it says, as we navigate these vast eastern plains of Colombia, we can see far into the horizon. Here we have discovered a unique type of cacao nurtured in the rich soils of the river valleys and cultivated by expert hands. As cacao hunters, we delight in offering this chocolate with its mysterious notes of honey, cashew, and mandarin. All right, go ahead. Open up our third. Rio de Oro. And again, they all have these pictures inside of the farmers. I like that aspect as well, of like really connecting this with real people. We Araucanos are as diverse as the plants and animals in our mysterious land. Many indigenous tribes and European ancestors shape our mixed heritage with our hard work and strong character. We lovingly craft a unique chocolate to share with the world. So we can open this one up. if you have not already, if you have held yourself back. Yeah, this is such a beautiful experience. I think we tend to have, you know, we're so surrounded by mass marketed chocolate that we get used to just popping chocolate and not thinking about it. And it's such a wonderful food. You know, it's sometimes I think there's a lot of foods out there that we could treat like wine. When we do wine tastings, we really think about what we're tasting. And we don't do that with a lot of other things. And I wish we did. And that's why I love having these chocolate tastings. I love having tea tastings. I love having coffee tastings. I love like really connecting with the food that you're eating or drinking. So I do get the honey from this as well. Although I got it from this first one. Which they said tasted more like brown sugar, but I can see that. But I'm really getting the honey from this one as well. I get that little bit of like mandarin too. It's like, you know, there are good mass-produced chocolates, especially the ones that are nostalgic. So the chocolates that were shaped like an orange, you get almost, those were good, and mostly because it's nostalgic for me, but it was always a bit of a synthetic, obviously, orange taste. This is that really natural, it's almost just like an aftertaste. So they do have this really complex, intense, long, kind of pleasant, unique flavor. So again, very reminiscent of like a wine tasting, of really paying attention to the chocolate on your palate. Yeah, and it does mean often that these have a higher price point. I mean, you're not going to get a mass-marketed chocolate that tastes like this, but you're also gonna pay a little bit more for them to provide chocolate that is sourced ethically and that treats the farmers well. And again, I think, you know, supporting these heirloom cacaos, I mean, you can't just go out and grow those without, you know, having some knowledge about it. So the final one that we have is this Perla Negra. So again, what this says is grown in Tumaco, the pearl of the Pacific region of Colombia. This one is 74%. So not a huge difference between these, 71, 72, 73, 74. So it's not the darkest dark chocolate ever. And it also has cacao, azúcar. Oh, this is I'm reading the Spanish one. Azúcar. Sorry, there's a song I really like where she's always yelling azúcar. Sugar, and may contain traces of milk. So this is cocoa mass and sugar, and that's all that's in this. Maybe some traces of milk, probably just because they also make milk chocolate at the same place. So this one says, deep in the tropical forest we discovered the black pearl of cacao. Safeguarded for generations, this cacao is infused with the vibrant essence of the jungle. As cacao hunters, we honor the strong hearts and sturdy hands that cultivate this cacao, with hints of wood, spices, nuts, and caramel. Are you guys getting those open okay? All right, you kind of got used to it. All right, because I can get scissors if you're having any trouble. Yeah, once you get the corner, you can kind of peel it open. We Tumaqueños have strong hearts which match the intensity of our land. We thank our indigenous and African ancestors who have taught us to thrive in this rugged terrain. Our heritage infuses our rich, deep cacao beans. They are an heirloom we treasure and have protected for generations. So, this is our last cacao. Do you have any questions for me? We do have this specific one here in the store, but we also have some other chocolates by them that are a little less expensive as well. But again, everything I read about their mission is the same. So these are all ethically sourced. They work with the farmers, even not just the heirloom ones. So you can feel good about stocking up on your chocolate. But I also think in terms of giving gifts, packaging is not always the most important thing to me, but when you're giving a gift, it is really nice to have it have this really beautiful box that it comes in, the beautiful gold embossing on the sides, and all the information. I mean, everything that we just did in this tasting, short of the really taking the time together to savor it and talk about it, this information's in the boxes. Not as much information about heirloom cacao as a whole, but I think you can get a good deal of the knowledge if you want to. So it's a really lovely gift to give someone, or to give yourself. I mean, I do think that's one thing. I'm willing to spend a little bit more on chocolate and to have it kind of an event. It's not Halloween candy that I'm just shoving in my mouth. You know, it's something where at the end of the day, at the end of a meal, I'll sit down and have a small bite of one of these beautiful chocolates. The one thing that we do have, if you wanted to stick around for a little bit, I am a big tea fan, and we talked about wine and chocolate, and I agree that some chocolates go very well with wines, but there are some chocolates that do not, because wine can be very bitter, especially red wines. And if you've had a very sweet chocolate, it doesn't always pair very well with a red wine. It makes the red wine taste even more bitter. These dark chocolates, on the other hand, pair very well with red wine. So we're not pairing red wine today, but we are pairing another thing that pairs very well with chocolate, which is tea. So a couple of different teas if you're a tea aficionado. Does anybody want some? Okay. So a nice Ceylon black tea pairs very well. There you go. And anything with like a citrus in it pairs very well with dark chocolate. So these are for dark chocolates specifically. So if you have an Earl Grey with bergamot in it, that pairs very well. Any green teas that are kind of citrusy. And then the classic pairing of mint and chocolate. If you wanted something that's herbal, those are all good. So today we have a basic Ceylon because I think we don't want to mask the flavor of these gorgeous chocolates. With the citrus is a nice pairing, and it can bring out some of the flavors, but I think it also can detract a little bit from just focusing on the chocolate. So today we're just doing a Ceylon. So take a little sip of tea and then take a little bit of the chocolate and see if you taste anything different. So I think the tea works well as a palate cleanser as well. If you now want to go back through each of the chocolates, kind of reevaluate how you feel about them, if you have a favorite. Does anybody have a favorite? Yeah, I think it means something that one got kind of a gold award. It's really lovely. But again, I think the tea, for me, sometimes can bring out a little bit more of the berry notes. Because it has more of this tanniny taste. I think I can taste the sweetness in the cocoa a little bit more, in the chocolate and the raw cacao. So I always feel like a salon kind of brings out those fruity flavors a little bit more for me. I'm more of the like caramel honey notes. Yeah, so just like the sweetness of the chocolate can almost make a wine taste more bitter. I think the slight bitterness or more tannin, that kind of drying in your mouth of a tea, helps bring out almost the sweetness of especially a dark chocolate. My personal opinion, I am also a huge tea drinker and I love tea, so I just feel like it pairs really well with these chocolates. It also is just a bit of a feeling of, I like having a nice warm cup of tea and a nice rich chocolate to go with it. So, well, I'm so glad that you could join me today. This was really fun. Yeah, and if you love someone very much, this would be a lovely gift for them or for yourself, and I hope you all love yourselves very much. So they have lots of different options in the store in the front if you wanted to pick up anything for some last minute gifts. All right, it was really nice meeting you all today, and I hope you'll join us again for other tastings. Okay, take care.